Marjorie Taylor Greene is livid with a fellow Republican lawmaker by the name of Nancy Mace. Now, Nancy Mace is a typical Republican. In fact, she's against vaccine mandates. We'll get to all of that later. But Mace apparently has a red line, and that red line is Islamophobia, because she criticized Lauren Boebert's statements in regard to Representative Ilhan Omar. Now, before we get to why Marjorie Taylor Greene is upset about that, why don't we go to this video to hear what Mace had to say.
I have time after time condemned my colleagues on both sides of the aisle for racist tropes and remarks that I find disgusting, and this is no different than any others. As a member of Congress and seeing such division in our country, we all have a responsibility, both elected members of Congress on both sides of the aisle and the American people in our communities and at work, in our communities and everything else, to lower, we have a responsibility to lower the temperature, and this does not do that. I didn't come to Congress to throw bombs on Twitter, to take advantage of people by saying crazy things to raise money, or to be a comedian. I'll leave comedy to Dave Chappelle. I was disappointed in the comments. I was encouraged to see that she did apologize for the comments, and I believe that's a step in the right direction.
Now, of course, Lauren Boebert had called Ilhan Omar a terrorist and then didn't really apologize for it. She doubled down, then twisted it to make it seem like she's this awesome representative looking out for the best interests of her constituents, when in reality, all she does is engage in culture war, nonsense meant to fundraise and distract. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't like Mace's comments there and tweeted the following: Nancy Mace is the trash in the GOP conference. Strong statement coming from actual trash in the GOP conference. She continues to tweet, never attacked by Democrats or Republicans in name only, same thing, because she is not conservative, she's pro-abort. Okay.
Pro-abort,
yeah.
Jesus.
Mace, you can back up off of Lauren Boebert or just go hang with your real gal pals, the Jihad Squad. You're out of your league. Complete lack of self-awareness there. It's amazing. And I'm no fan of Nancy Mace, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, hit him with Mace's comeback, because this shows you, no, it's on. This is for the first time in my life an actual civil war within the Republican Party. I want to talk to you about the consequence of that, because this isn't about Mace or Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's about the phenomenon, and why is Mace going after these radicals in our own party? It's really interesting.
So the last part of Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet said, "You're out of your league," and there was a grammatical error there, and Mace decided to mention it in her response to Marjorie Taylor Greene with the correct grammar, "you're" with an RE at the end. And while I'm correcting you, I'm a pro-life fiscal conservative who was attacked by the left all weekend, as I often am, as I defied China while in Taiwan. What I'm not is a religious bigot or racist. You might want to try that over there in your little league. And in response, Marjorie Taylor Greene says, "You're for the spell check, please." Which is very clever. By the way, later Mace posted again on Twitter mocking Greene's self-congratulating tweet after she recently strong-armed House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy to kowtow the demands of her and other GOP extremists. So.
Okay, so, okay,
yeah,
there you have it. Where Kevin McCarthy comes out in all this is actually very important. So that last tweet about Nancy Mace talking to McCarthy is very relevant. So let's break this down a little bit. First of all, I'm amused by Mace's comment that I've been attacked by the left wing this whole weekend because I defied China and Taiwan.
And I didn't even know she existed until today. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Well, that's actually part of the story.
Yeah.
I didn't know either, right? And the idea that left wingers were like, did you see how she defied China? We're all in support of China. I can't believe she defied it. And while in Taiwan, what are you talking about? It's just, no one said that, okay? I don't know a single leftist that knew you, let alone knew you were in Taiwan, let alone bravely defied China, which is like the easiest thing in the world, and we're not opposed to at all. Okay, so you can see we don't like either side here. All right, now the importance of it. Look, before they would have fake civil wars in the Republican Party, they'd have the Tea Party, and the Tea Party would say, oh no, we got to pull things more right wing, and the corporate Republicans would go, oh golly gee, you are twisting our arm. Okay, fine, even more tax cuts for the rich. What can we do? And Rachel Maddow would get on MSNBC and she'd be like, oh my God, they're having a civil war. This is gonna rip the Republican Party apart, yay, right? And that would never happen. Instead, they would move the Overton window and the politics in America would get more and more right wing. It was a fake civil war that really, really hurt the country, okay, within the GOP. Now this one is real. They're really at each other's throats. This isn't the fake ones that we saw and reported on before. Before we showed you the quotes, we're like, they don't actually disagree. Here, they actually disagree. And they're starting to hit each other like each side's a Democrat. They're treating themselves as Democrats. Like they never do that. They usually like have a certain bounds for what they say about their own colleagues. But this little league team, the Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boeberts of the world, they broke all the rules. In some ways, by the way, and you might be surprised at me saying this, at least in terms of etiquette, in a positive way. Because I don't know why everybody in every party has to agree. That's dumb. And what it does is it creates conformity with usually corporate culture, right? So I don't believe in the etiquette at all, and I'm glad that it's being broken on both sides. Now, the problem is then they broke it with a Jewish space laser, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene in the past talked about how a Jewish space laser was burning up forests. She's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And okay, so that was in the past, but now she still says crazy stuff all the time. And Boebert started talking about the Jihad Squad, referring to the Just Democrats in Congress. That's an outrageously bigoted thing to say. But no Republican usually would call out bigotry against Muslims. Republicans ate that for lunch. They love that, right? Now Mace is saying, no, you're a religious bigot and a racist. I've never seen another Republican call a fellow Republican a racist. That's an interesting development.
So what's happening here, Jim?
Okay, so here are the possibilities. Number one, the most likely is a mundane explanation. She got redistricted. Because of the census, everybody's getting redistricted in all the states. And if your district now has more Democratic voters, all of a sudden you got to go on TV and tell, and which Mace did earlier, tell Fox News one thing, oh, I don't love the vaccines, then go on CNN and go, oh, I love the vaccines, okay? Because she's trying to get appeal to both sides. If you got more Democrats in your district, you're gonna wanna hit Marjorie Taylor Greene and you're gonna wanna do it publicly, okay? And so that's part of it might be what's going on. Number two, the donors are sick of the Marjorie Taylor Greenes. Okay, and
they are. That is absolutely true.
Yes, and now they're sending out their henchmen, Chris Christie, Nancy Mace, and others, and saying, no, stop playing around. Treat them like Democrats. Hit them and hit them hard.
Thank God, Chris Christie and Nancy Mace will save the day.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And of course, the last part of it is the clout. So she said, oh, it's easy to be a comedian and be racist and raise money. Why? Because she's jealous of how much money Marjorie Taylor Greene raises. I hate Marjorie Taylor Greene, but that is true. Marjorie Taylor Greene raises a tremendous amount of small dollar donor money from the base who loves her, right? And so Mace now is attacking Marjorie Taylor Greene so that we all know that she exists, because nobody even knew about her before, because she was a typical corporate politician who hung out in a wine cellar, gave everything to corporations, and then got reelected because the corporate media would go, oh, bipartisan, so wonderfully bipartisan.
They do love a Chambly.
You're right, so now she's coming out of the wine cellar because she realizes she needs small dollar donations too. And that's why she's in a clout war now. So the clout wars are real, and on the right wing side, and the donors are mad, and there's redistricting. So you're gonna get a lot more of Republican on Republican crime.
Let them fight.
Let them fight, let them fight. This is a real fight, and it's good for the country. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.